Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Nadia. I am an Akashic Records channeler, and today we are just gonna see what the guides have to say. I don't really have any I don't have any thoughts about where this is gonna go. I have no clue what the guides are gonna say, what they want us to know. I just filmed an August energy update, and so that's been said and done. So I don't really know where we're gonna go from here, but let's just see. I'm gonna go ahead and just close my eyes and feel in to the energy, connect with my guides. Anything that does not resonate with you, just leave it and take whatever does. Yeah, I'm not here to force anything down anyone's throat. This is just, I don't know. Let's just see what they have to say. Okay, what would you like us to know right now for the collective? Any messages? Okay, so if you've watched my August update, the same thing pops up. The first thing I see in my head is a rainbow, and they said Rainbow Road. Rainbow Road. The rainbow is... it's a bridge. It feels like the bridge to 3D to 5D. So I guess what we're going to talk about today is the transition to 5D Earth. You may have heard of this concept. It's been going around for years now. It's a really hot topic right now in the spiritual community. Channelers are talking about it like crazy. The split, like the Earth split. Or the Earth shift, you may have heard it referred to. And I would just like to, I guess my guides would like us to talk about that today, but I would like to get their viewpoint, like straight from my guides, what they have to say about this, what it really is, what does it mean, what does it entail. I know timelines are shifty, but like, what are we looking at here? What can we expect? And just, I don't know, anything else. They brought this up, so let's see what they have to say about it. Let's see. Okay. Please ignore my drawings. I like to doodle. This is my rainbow I just doodled, and this is the image they're showing me of Earth. So they're showing me two Earths right now, and they're intertwined. So you are experiencing, like, let's say this one's 3D and this one's 5D. I'll get into what that means exactly right now, but we are all experiencing bits and bobs of both 3D and 5D. So when you think of 3D Earth, that is the old matrix that we have been living in. That is the solid reality. I only believe what I can touch, see, feel, hear, taste, you know, all of that stuff. I'll believe it when I see it kind of belief. It is very dense, it is very heavy, and the world is run on duality. Everything is about duality and polarity, right and wrong, good and bad, love and fear. And it was a existence heavy with karma, heavy with learning from suffering, learning from pain. Karma as in, like, you do something bad, you kind of have to repay it, to tip the balances, to rebalance the scales. If you do something good, you get rewarded. Like, that pretty basic viewpoint of karma is what 3D Earth was. And 5D Earth is so much more elevated than that. So the guides are telling me that 5D Earth is an Earth rooted in love. That's just what they're saying. They're saying love, but it's a love that is different. Like, it's not, it is truly an unconditional love. You love everybody on Earth simply because they exist, simply because God created them, and because we are all one. You see yourself in every other being on the planet. You recognize that we are all connected, that we are all from one source. We are all fractals of one source, and we honor each other, even the people who do bad things. We love and we forgive them. But 5D Earth, like, people can still make bad choices and do bad things, but it's just different, man. It's like, it's hard to put this into words, but 3D Earth was filled with evil. It just was evil. Dark people, dark beings, who have fallen so far from the light that they don't even remember who they are. They don't remember that they are part of the light and that they are part of God. They are so far removed from that they just commit atrocities for their own gain or just for the thrill of it. And 5D Earth, that kind of stuff doesn't even exist. Now, that is not to say, again, that people are incapable of doing bad things. They are, but it catches up with them much quicker. People will not get away with what they did in 3D Earth. And it's almost like people can't even stand being bad, so they might do something and then their conscience just their conscience gets to them so much that they just can't stand it and they never do it again. It just feels like, because consciousness is so elevated in 5D Earth, that it is actually really hard to do something bad, because it like goes against our very nature, our very core of being, to do something hurtful to someone else, because you are hurting yourself. You like, we're seeing everybody as mirrors and reflections of us, and so it's just it's like, I mean, there are people who did this, but it's like kicking a puppy or something, you know, like the average person is not capable of doing something like that. That's what it's going to feel like in 5D Earth. And so let's get into, so we broke down 3D and 5D like on a very general level. And right now what we're in is like the middle of the shifting sands, where we are seeing bits from both. Like, we are seeing the worst of the worst with 3D Earth, like the most evil, vile, horrible stuff. Sorry, my vocabulary leaves when I'm in channeling mode. It's hard for me to pull out like words. So I apologize, but please stick with me. I'm gonna get it out. And 5D Earth is love and connection and unity. 3D is duality and suffering and pain, and that's where we learn, right? And 5D is like, really, it is truly a planet of creation. We are creators in 3D Earth, but for a long time we didn't know that we were. We were just creating on default, and now we're starting to get an idea, like manifestation became mainstream, and we're starting to really get that idea of our thoughts are creating our reality. But in 5D Earth, it is so much quicker, so much more instantaneous. It's just a quicker turnaround time. So like in 3D Earth, it might take years to build something. In 5D Earth, it'll take days or weeks. They're showing me like 5D Earth has so much more lushness in its biodiversity. Like, it's just showing me lush jungles, landscapes, rivers, waterfalls. It's very lush because we've reached a place where we are no longer stripping the earth of its resources and of its beauty. We are learning how to cohabitate and build alongside Mother Earth instead of using her as our pawn. Like, we're respecting her. And so the air is clearer, the sky is clearer, the trees are greener, like the landscapes are more lush. There is so much more, the air is just easier to breathe. It's just beautiful. The technology they're showing me in 5D Earth, the technology is, it's working again, it's working with the earth. It is working with Mother Gaia instead of harming her. And so they're showing me like these flying crafts that I guess we're going to be inventing or using sometime in the future in 5D Earth. But they're like, they're so quiet. Like, they don't disturb the wildlife. They're very silent, and they don't produce any icky stuff, any like pollution or anything, you know, coming out of it. And then now they're showing me houses that are, it's just so different. It's kind of like going back to the old way in a sense, but also more technologically advanced and more comfortable. So it's like we're going back to the old way where we would use natural materials to build our buildings, our homes. So they are good for the earth, and they are good for us, and they are healthy. But they're also advanced technologically, and they have like, we're not giving up our luxuries, like our comforts of air conditioning and heat and stuff like that. It's like we have the best of both worlds, where the homes are much more natural, much more like they're coexisting with nature, but they're still modern and comfortable and smart and advanced. Okay, anyway, so right now, again, we are in the throes of that great shift, and 2024, they're telling me, is when the grounds really started shifting, getting us, you know, it was the beginning of the journey. 2025, we're in the thick of it. We're in the thick of the crumbling. I think 2026 is going to continue some of that crumbling of the old structures, but I don't feel like it's going to be quite as intense as 2025 was. I feel like 2026 is just like tying up the loose ends of, we're recognizing that our old institutions and the way that we've been running society is no longer working. So we're going to, like, the rest of it's going to come down a little more gracefully, and then we're going to start integrating newer ways of going. And then for the next 7 or 8 years, we're going to be building really steadily into this new way of life, like new technologies. AI is going to help us a lot with health, and with like smart strategies, smart ways to build these homes and this new technology, these flying crafts that I saw. AI, and also our connection more to our galactic friends. The further we get into this new awakening and this 5D earth, we're going to have much more connection with our galactic friends, and they are going to really help us along as well. But they're waiting for us to pass this threshold before they can really start working with us on a more solid level than they have been. So yeah, again, it started last year, and the next 7 or 8 years is going to be that building phase. And my guides are saying to me right now that we're ahead of schedule. We are ahead of what was initially projected for us as a collective, which is great. And I think it's because so many of us have been waking up so quickly. Like, change has just been, it's like they're showing me the earth, and every single person I'm seeing, like billions of people, and little light bulbs waking up over their heads one by one by one. And it's happening, like, first it was one here and one there and very quiet, and now it's like like, you know, like catching fire almost. So that's what I'm seeing, like a forest fire just going, and everyone's starting to wake up. And it doesn't look the same in every way. Like, it's not like everyone is waking up spiritually in the way that you might watching this channel, but they're waking up in their own ways. And by waking up, I just mean they are awakening to accepting and understanding that things are not as they once were. And even when they were that way, we were not told the truth. Like, it was, we were living in pretty much the Truman Show, and we're all kind of starting to wake up to that in our own ways at our own time. And if someone never does wake up to it, like someone that you love never does and stays asleep, then that's something that we need to honor, because that is their soul path. We can't force anybody to wake up. We cannot, we can't change anybody's mind. It'll have to happen when they are ready. And if it doesn't, it's okay. It'll happen in the next life, or the next, or the next. We are infinite beings. We have infinite amounts of possibilities and times to try this out. So there's no failing. You don't have to worry about catching a bus, because what they're saying is the guides are picking up on this collective anxiety of, oh no, like, am I gonna make it? Am I gonna make it to 5D Earth? How do I know if I'm gonna make it? What they're saying is pretty much, if you are watching this channel and if you are somewhat open to this idea, you're good. You're pretty much, it is the people who are clinging so tightly to their beliefs, so tightly to the past, so tightly to living in that Truman Show. They cannot, they will not accept anything else. Like, they are so, their heads are dug in the sand so deep, there's no waking them up. And people who, let's say the darker people who have been using control and fear and stuff like that to their advantage, and have been abusing people, they have an opportunity now to turn things around. But if by the time the split is finalized and they haven't, and they're just continuing in their path of darkness, again, that's their choice, and they're going to be on 3D Earth, like they're going to reincarnate into a different existence that has similar learning experiences as 3D Earth had. So it's all going to happen how it's supposed to happen, but just believe that if you are doing any kind of inner work, if you are awakening to whatever that means to you, if you are open, if you are loving, if you are curious, if whatever, you will probably make it. I feel like you're going to be fine, because if you were not even watching this video, if you were not even curious, if you were not listening to this kind of stuff, it would not be in your realm at all. You would still be asleep, but you're here. So that tells me that you're good. You're going to make it. Kids and pets automatically get upgraded. You don't have to worry about being separated. And one more thing I want to really emphasize is this is not a physical split. There's not literally going to be 2 planet Earths. This is an energetic split. This is a dimensional split. So just like how, how people say the veil is thin, right? Like, we live in a place and you can peek through the veil metaphorically, and you can connect with spirits and elementals and stuff like that. That is what it is. So they're living in a different dimension, but they're still here. They are here in the same place. Heaven, our loved ones who are in the spirit world, they're here. They live in the same place. It is just a dimensional space that we cannot really see. That's another thing with 5D Earth, is our senses are so much more heightened, and we can see and feel, and like our clairs are just normal. Like, everybody has it. And so we're able to communicate so much easier with the other dimensions, with the elementals, and with like dragons and fairies and mermaids, and with our loved ones who've passed on. Like, we're able to communicate so much deeper. Sorry, I get a little bit burpy when I'm channeling. Does anyone else get that way? But anyway, yes, so it is not a physical split. But from what I understand, what the guides are saying is, right now, going back to this diagram, we are 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, we are living in both simultaneously, and we're constantly going in and out. And it's going to remain that way for a while, where we are both in 3D and 5D. And eventually it's going to get to a place where it feels like the gates shut and we no longer have access to both. The date that I keep getting in my head for that is 2032. That feels like you have from now, and I want to preface this with, time is constantly shifting. Timelines are always changing. But right now, in this moment, July 19th, 2025, it feels that 2032 is the closed window. If you haven't progressed, if you haven't made any changes by 2032, then you're going to remain on 3D Earth, or again, like another similar realm, plane, with similar lessons. And we have to honor that that is what the individual souls chose. I'm smiling because my my mom is here right now, in spirit. My mom passed away a few years ago, and I just got I felt her touching my arm just now, because she wanted me to tell this little story. So I'll tell it. So like I said, my mom passed away a few years ago, and I struggled with it, as most people do when your loved one passes away. We were very close, and it was really hard for me to accept that it was her time. I felt like it was before her time. I felt like she should have stayed here longer. I had just had my first child, and I wanted her to be here, to just be here with us, and you know, like, be a grandma to my baby. And it was really hard. I was 8 months postpartum when she passed away. So I kept telling myself it was before her time. And that was really the beginning of one of my biggest spiritual awakenings, when I started being able to communicate with the other side. It was shortly after her passing. So her death really catalyzed that shift in me. And, you know, I was talking to her, and I've been talking to my guides and for a few years, and they've finally convinced me that it was her time to go. Her soul chose that time. So while it was hard for me as her human daughter to accept that, I can respect that it was one of her exit points, and her soul decided it is time for her to leave. She's done what she needed and wanted to do on Earth, and it is for the, it's weird to say it this way, but it's for the betterment of everybody, in a sense. Because like I said, her passing, it was rough, it was hard, but I wouldn't be where I am today if that hadn't woken me up. Like, I was already on a spiritual path, and I was already like awakening little by little, but her passing really just exploded me, catapulted me into this world, and opened up my gifts in a way that I never thought possible, and started me on this path that I'm on now, where I'm now reading for other people, and I have this access to the Akashic Records that, by the way, everybody has, but it made it very clear to me. So anyway, that whole story was, we might not understand why a soul would want to stay on 3D Earth, or why a soul might dip out early and leave, like, you know, these mass exoduses that have been happening, like during COVID, which is when my mom passed. She didn't pass from COVID, but it was that time. It was 2021, so it was when so many people were leaving. And we don't have to really understand the why, but just know that there is a reason, and that soul chose that time. A soul never ever leaves before it is ready. So even when you look at, and this is hard to say, but like the passing of children, I mean, I have 2 children, and if anything ever happened to them, it'd be hard, obviously. I don't even have words for it. I don't want to think about it. But children's souls also choose. It is not on a conscious human 3D level. It is at a soul level, and it is sometimes beyond our understanding, but it is what it is. So again, anyone who chooses to stay on 3D Earth, anyone who chooses to not wake up, anyone who chooses to not go to 5D, because it is a choice to go to 5D, that is their choice, and it is our job to just accept it and respect it, and just, you know, I feel like when we're on 5D, we're gonna really be able to understand that better anyway. Let me see, is there anything else that they want to say? Let me just pull a card, I guess. Again, I say this in all my videos, but I will say that I am not a tarot expert. I am a hobbyist. I I just do it for fun. I don't have all the cards memorized, so I have to refer to the book very often, and that's okay. What can you tell us about 5D Earth? I like for the cards to pop out. Anyone else do this when you're pulling cards? I just feel like they're more legit when they pop out. I don't trust myself when I'm just like pulling cards myself, because I just question, is that really the card? Is that really the card that they wanted? And then I'll put it back in, and then I'll pull it back up. So anyway, one more card, please. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I pulled the Page of Swords. This is, I asked just like anything they want us to know about 5D Earth. So Page of Swords is a thirst for information, intellectual pursuits, ideas, and reasoning. I learn and I expand my consciousness and open up new opportunities for my life. Okay, that tracks. 3 of Swords, which is about painful separation, loss, heartbreak, an opportunity to heal, shadows coming to light, finding inspiration again. My heart remains tender and open. Let's see. So to me, this is about rebuilding after the loss. It is about, like, you see how the heart's getting stitched up? It's about the healing. And I feel like us shifting to 5D Earth and this whole new era we are entering is the healing of the last few thousand years. I don't have the dates at the top of my head, but if you are familiar with the Kali Yuga, like the Yuga cycles, we've been in the dark one, and now we're in March, like we reached the other, like the dark Yuga, the Kali Yuga. I should look this stuff up before I start talking. We are going into the light now. So it is a new cycle. Don't ask me how many years it is. It's like thousands of years of the light. And so, but we have some healing and integration to do from the last 12,000 or 7,000, however many thousand years it was. And even just recently, like the last decade, the last 20 years, we have so much healing and rebuilding to do. So that is going to be very available for us in 5D Earth. And then I pulled the Ace of Cups. Let's see. New connections, new relationships, friendships, the seed of love and hope, awakening the heart, joy, positive outcomes, oneness, bliss, and creativity. My heart is open and filled with love. That makes so much sense. So we are learning new things. We are growing and expanding. We are healing. And our heart is open, and we are in unity consciousness, recognizing that we are all one. We are all love. We are all of the source creator. These are major themes of 5D Earth. It's going to be beautiful. I hear, I do watch some channelers talk about it, and some are very practical and kind of downplayed about it, and some are very fantastical about it. I'm, claiming that we're gonna have completely new bodies, and we're gonna, like, our limbs are gonna regrow. If we lost an arm or something, we're gonna return back to how we looked in our 30s or in our prime age. I'm not sure. What do my guys have to say about that? They're saying it is somewhere in the middle. It is somewhere in the middle of grounded and fantastical, and it is not going to look like what we expect. It'll be different than what we expect, but it'll be different. Like our minds can't fully grasp it yet. So, like, for instance, if I was filming this in the 80s and I was trying to imagine what 2025 would look like, it would be really hard for my brain to come up with that image. If we were talking about little cell phones and AI and self-driving cars and all of this stuff that we have now, it would be very hard for me as a channeler to bring that through. And they're telling me that's similar to what it's going to be like for 5D Earth. Like we can see, like they showed me the examples of the car and the houses and the nature and stuff, but it's going to be different in a way that we don't really have words for yet. Like we can't put it into words. So, and also it's still forming. We are the creators of the new Earth. So it is all still forming. Nothing's really set in stone. Dates are not set in stone. Exactly how it's going to look is not set in stone, because we are creating this live, like moment by moment. And so think about what you want. Think about what you want it to look like. What do you want your next 10, 15, 20 years to look like? And as we make that shift into 5D, it'll look like that and better, like so much better than you can even imagine. And that is all I've got for this video. I hope that this shed a little bit of light. It was interesting to see a lot of what my guide said. I feel like I've kind of heard from other channelers, but it was a little bit different. Again, like some are super chill and nonchalant about it, and some are very out in space about it, which I respect and I love. I love hearing their takes on it, but it was interesting to hear how my guides explained it in kind of a, you know, it's in the middle. As are most things in life. Most things are not, you know, you'll have people on one extreme or another extreme, but the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. It's usually a mix of everything. So take it with a grain of salt. Take what you want, leave the rest. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. What do you think this split is all about? What do you think is going on? What do you think 5D Earth is going to look like? Do you think it's actually going to happen? Do you think any of this is real? And yeah, if you want a one-on-one reading with me, the link is in the description box. And I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next video. Love you. Bye.